just the usual. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Spot the fossil. There is an ammonite preserved in the fool's gold. I'm heading towards Lyme Regis this morning, fossil collecting. It's an early start. So this video is called Fossil Hunting Tips and Tricks. And one of the tricks is to get out of bed early in the morning. And to do that, I remind myself of some of the really good fossils I found in the past along the Jurassic coast. And that is something that gets me out of bed in the morning. This is the beautiful River Lyme, and that is subject to erosion, just like the cliffs are. The river is taking away this embankment here. You can see it's all falling down, so don't step near the edge. And as I say, do not go anywhere near the dangerous cliffs along the Jurassic coast. And here goes the River Lyme out to sea. Well, you can see all of Black Ven down there in the distance. So look at these wonderful ammonites here on the surface of this limestone platform. The sea's just coming up over the area at the moment, but as it recedes, as the tide's going lower and lower today, look at those ammonites there emerging. Well, they say early bird catches the worm, and you can see here I'm on the beach at low tide. It's low tide at mid-morning, and now I've got one of the beautiful iron pyrite ammonites. Just put a bit of muck on. Not so good the other side, but a nice find, and that's for getting up early in the morning as the tide is low and heading out looking for the fossils, as I've got a low tide situation this morning for finding fossils. Well, here's a good fossil hunting tip. When you get to the mudslides and see just part of a nodule sticking out, that's only half you can see. Someone's tapped that before, so leave it alone. Someone's already had a look in that fossil bearing stone, a Microdorosaurus birchi nodule. Also, if you see a proper fossil collector, they're usually stooped over, carrying some huge superfluous weight like a metal frame rucksack. They're covered in mud, and their leggings are usually tucked outside their boots. You can see here where the mudslides are all active and moving forward, and you can see those boulders and bits of stone ahead of the mudslide all being ruckled up. Down there in the distance is the 2008 Lyme Regis landslide. A lot of people looking today on that at low tide, but if you have a look just down here with me along the beach, and then we'll zoom up, you can see it all coming down, moving down there in the distance. You must watch out on the beach for these pockets of liquefied mud, and I'll just go up to this area. I'm not gonna get too near it, and I've got an ammonite here, one of the ones the kids like to find. It's a good paperweight one, so the sea can erode that out of this mudslide again, but I'm going to just throw that into the mud just to show you how liquefied it is. Look at that. So you don't want to go in there with your boots. I've had to dig a lot of people out in the past. Here's a big round nodule to have a tap at, and if you see a nodule like this, it's already been tapped, because you can see from that edge it's half a nodule. So let's have a tap at that big rock there around the edge. Placing my foot on it to give it a bit of steadiness. Bits are starting to break off that now. Bit of a calcite vein there going through. Lots of calcite. Lots of brown calcite in that rock. No ammonite. Well, can you spot the fossil bearing rock? You can see here a rock with an impression on the outside to hopefully give the game away there's something on the inside. Let's tap through the rock with the hammer. Let's split through, getting a few flat faces to work down through the stone. There's a little one just on the back there. Let's see if I can work my way up to that small one. See it start to merge there. There we go, impression one side and the ammonite on the other side. A very beautiful day. A good little patch to look on at the beach. There you can see the belemnite. Some of the pyrite. Well, I've got the old green potting sieve, the garden sieve. Let's give that a really good go. I've been scraping around in pyrite patches on the beach, and as I've said before, those are really good to look in for the perfect pyrite ammonites. And then I take the big rocks out of the sieve because you can see they don't mean anything. I can see there's nothing on top of those pieces of pyrite or bits of limestone rock, and even a bit of material from the old Victorian bottle dump washing down there. And as I sift through, just scanning to see if I see anything a bit more than just the usual. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Spot the fossil. There is an ammonite preserved in the fool's gold. Beautifully preserved. I just put that sieve to one side. It's just started to pelt down with rain now, so hopefully it's light enough with the camera on it to show you just what a lovely golden ammonite that one is. If you're doing a bit of tapping of the right rocks with the hammer, you can use these sturdy gloves, and even these vinyl gloves are good, especially when you're sifting through the pyrite. Here's one of the layered rocks, and you can see just in the top there, one of the little ammonites there. This is one that will split like slate, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my safety glasses on, tap through that rock to show you. You can see here at the edge of an ammonite protruding out, and these layered limestone rocks, they're quite sharp sounding when you tap them with the hammer. And I'll split down through the layer, see if there's anything more inside the rock. You can see how nicely they split with the cleave end of the hammer. There. Let's open up the other piece, see what's in there. Sharp sounding rock, and I've got the gloves on and the safety glasses. Let's tap right the way through the rock. See how nicely it splits there through, a bit like slate almost. You can just see the edge of one there. There's one right on the top of the rock here. Oh, and there's some inside. Let's break down right next to that small one there, and you can see the back of that little one protruding out. I'm going to tap quite near to that. Let's put it on a plinth here so I can break right next to that one. There we go. The first time it's seen the light of day in all those millions of years. Nice ammonite there. I'll do a little bit of picking out of that when I get home and get it prepared. Well, a metal framed rucksack is a good brace against your back if you do find anything a bit bigger. And I've got all my coat systems with leggings and 2 coats today, because look down there in the distance, that's looking really quite dark now, mid-morning, and they did forecast some big showers. Well, I've got my coat system on and I've got quite a muddy coat already, and that does prove that I've been doing quite a bit of work on the beach, looking around the foot of the mudslides. That's what happens when you're out here fossil collecting. Well, if you're not finding anything very much, don't despair. Look at the rocks. They have some lovely ammonites on the surface. They're always nice to see out here on the Jurassic coast. And don't be tempted to pick up large rocks and just hurl them across the beach. You really are not going to have any chance of just one popping out of the rock doing that. You really have to know the right rocks, the layered natured rocks. And if you have a look at one of my videos called 10 fossil hunting mistakes, I've got a really good rock on that particular video to show you the one to look for on the Jurassic coastline at low tide. The sea doing the work for you, washing them out onto the beach. Look for impressions on the outside to give the game away. There might be something more on the inside of those rocks. Look at the weather today, it's really starting to come in. Well, I said it was going to be rainy. You could see that storm in the distance. I've now got my rucksack over my head and you can see it's really the kind of weather for ducks. Look at that, how wet is that? You can see the people down there in the distance have started to disappear back to Lyme Regis with that weather. You can see that storm now heading down and covering Golden Cap down there in the distance. Here the mudslide is edging forward all the time, and you can see a nice bit of fossil wood here in that large limestone block. And all along at the edge of the mudslide, it's moving. As I showed you earlier, the front face of this mudslide here, you can see pushing up. These are good sorts of pockets to find the lead in, looking for bits that have washed out of the 2008 Lyme Regis landslide. I can take them back for recycling. Lead, and the lead that I find I'm taking off the beach because it's quite poisonous. I'll take that down to the tackle shop. Well, here are some ammonites I found with some quite nice dogtooth spar calcite crystals on the outer edge. They don't break out very well. Some of them do. See that small one there? That's come out quite nicely. With the calcite, you can see that's formed in the fossil is actually in crystalline form on the outer edge, although it's been quite well eroded. And the rain is going to help shortly to wash them up. You'll see them a bit better. And the rain has helped show me that there was a black line around this rock. Could be something interesting in that little nodule. So rain does show things up on the beach, and as long as you're out here and have some good coat systems on, you can survive for a few hours finding the fossils, the rain showing you the way with some of the right rocks, and especially the para ammonites on the beach. The rain started to bring out the calcite in those ammonites. It's a shame they don't break so well. Some do, some don't. And there's that lovely dogtooth spar calcite crystal seam on the outside. The ammonite's being formed in a limestone rock and preserved in calcite. That's quite well illustrated by this very frosty calcite ammonite there. And then on the outside there's the dogtooth spar calcite crystals. Tide's coming in now. That's something to watch. And as I said, very rainy day. So I'm going to head back. I'll show you the lead I've been collecting along the Jurassic coast.